Does the car that an agent drive actually matter? You'll find out on Toole Time. I'm Tom Toole. She's Jess Lion. I guess this is what we've settled on as our intro because I don't have anything else more exciting to say. Maybe we'll change that up. We are talking about some interesting stuff today. A great local topic, the return of the zoo key to the Philadelphia Zoo. So, Jess, what do you think about all this? Do you even know what a zoo key is?
I do know what a zoo key is. I used to have multiple of them because I would go to the zoo all the time. I don't have them anymore. I tried to find one. I can't find it. But it's really exciting. You used to go in and put them in the exhibits where the animals were, and it would tell you all about the animal and stuff. Did you have them?
I went to the zoo once when I was a kid, so I did not. I knew what they were. They were rings at the time. It was like a magnetic ring.
Mine was like a lanyard.
Okay, and they had both. So a zoo key, for the people that don't know, it activates like talking storybook boxes throughout the zoo, and they were really, really popular at the Philadelphia Zoo, and then they got rid of them, just like they got rid of the elephants. Mm-hmm. So, and now what they're doing is there's a new Creatures of Habitat exhibit. So there are 12 life-size Lego exhibits. So I know my son is definitely going to want to go. That are going to spotlight issue animals in the wild that are facing issues that animals are facing in the wild, and the kind of people that are working to save them, because there's obviously a lot of those things happening to the animals you see in the zoo with extinction, poaching, that sort of stuff. So 6ABC is presenting the key. So smart move by them. They've also got the zoo balloon. They sponsor that as well. And they're going to, you go in, you turn the key, and they tell you what's going on. It's $3 a key. So do you think it was a smart move to bring them back?
I think it was a very smart move to bring them back. I think it'll bring a lot of people who are my age back and your age back, and it'll be nostalgic. But there was a part at the end of the article saying that there is like a new marketplace, or it's a restaurant called Urban Green, and they're going to be serving like food, wine, craft beer, which I feel like the zoo needed that because it didn't have anything like that. And I'm more excited for that than this key.
Well, as a parent, and we do have a zoo membership. I've been in the zoo more with my kids than I ever went on my own.
Yeah.
Having the adult attraction is important. I mean, the zoo's pretty cool. The Philadelphia Zoo, it's old, right?
Yeah.
So you have the circular loop. It's the first zoo in the country. And the circular loop is great because literally you just decide to go left or right, and you can go see all the animals, and you're not, like, dead. Like, I've been to the San Diego Zoo, and we were so tired by the time we got done there because it's so big. Obviously, they got more animals, much cooler stuff.
San Diego Zoo is really cool.
I mean, it's amazing. There's no comparison, but it's exhausting. You can hit the zoo in like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and be done and good to go. So when it's like summer and your kids are going crazy and you're looking for something to do, or even days like today, this is one of the first couple of nice days that we've had. Having that adult attraction is pretty cool, and the more stuff the kids can do there and get involved with, the better. They have the train there, which is really cool.
They actually have a 5K coming up in the zoo. I ran it last year. It's coming up in like the next 2 weeks. I think you could still register for it. So run around the zoo. It's in the morning.
How many times do you have to run around the zoo for a 5K?
Twice. Twice, and I was exhausted. But it was so much fun. There's a lot of hills in the Philadelphia Zoo.
There is, yeah.
Especially going up to the cheetah thing, yeah.
Yes. That's where the biggest hill is. I mean, they've got some great attractions there, and I think the challenge for the Philadelphia Zoo is there's no more room to expand it. Mm-mm. The reason the elephants had to leave was because the habitat wasn't up to WWF standards, not the wrestling league. This is for the World Wildlife Federation. And so because they kept them in a barn, and they replaced them with white rhinos. Love the idea. I think it's smart to get more people there, more foot traffic. It's also really easy to get to the zoo. It's right off 76, so anything they can do to get more people in that doesn't involve like adding space, I'm all for. So I love the idea. I think it's really smart.
Yeah, let's do it. We should go.
All right, so we have agreement here. No need for the fence. We've got to get rid of this thing. Hopefully we'll have a new one the next couple of weeks. We keep talking about it, but there's been a lot of inaction there.
I have to build it myself, I feel like.
I mean, that's all you if you want to do that. So the next topic, probably the most interesting one, is there was and it's not from this article, but the article kind of sparked the topic. There was an article on Inman that asked a question: does the car an agent drives to an appointment matter? What do you think about all this?
Well, what do you think? You go first.
So what I know is that I've been through this where I've had I was 19 years old selling real estate. I have some piece of junk car I would drive back and forth from college, and for me personally, I don't know if the clients felt this way. Personally, I was very conscious about nervous. I'm not thinking of the right word.
So it was something in your mind.
It was in my head,
Yeah.
and I would say from a confidence factor for the agent, having a car where you drive up and it shows that you're successful and you know what you're doing has a lot of value. Whether or not the people think that way, and there will be some that do, and there's some that aren't going to care. They're not going to really give a crap about it. For the confidence level, to me, that's most important because the job of the agent is closing the listing.
Yeah.
And if they're worried about what kind of car they drive instead of the client's needs, goals, them asking the right questions, the confidence level is what I'm really talking about here. So that, to me, it matters for the agent probably more than anyone else. Are there going to be people that judge you based on your car? I don't think there's any question about that. And it kind of depends on the appointment, too.
Right.
If you're going to $1 million listing appointment and you're showing up in a hoopty, I mean, it's
Hoopty.
probably not going to go so well.
Well, I've been out with clients like that, and they were driving, trucks just like my dad drives, like nothing crazy. I drive a 2008 Nissan Altima Coupe. It's white. It's small. I've had it for 5 years. I got it when I was bartending, and it's paid off, more importantly. It's completely paid off. I own the car. So reading through, they did like a Facebook poll. And what pretty much the verdict was that it's more important about how clean your car is rather than, what type of car you drive. Now, obviously, people are going to judge. In the Inman article, the guy, I think it was the agent went on a listing appointment. The guy basically hired her because she had this really nice BMW, and he trusted anybody who had that type of car. But I feel like it doesn't really stick in my mind. I'm not too conscious about it. Do I want a very nice car? Would I love to roll up and a cool G-Wagon like Jill Biggs? Yes, I would love to look that cool. However, you have to make financially sound decisions. You can't be fake. Gary Vee touched on this. He said when he was in his 20s.
The same guy who said don't buy a house but has a conference for realtors, that guy?
We figured that out. But anyway, regardless, he said that in his 20s, he didn't have a suit. He didn't have nice watches. He rented an apartment. He was saving money to invest. That's what we were talking about. And he had like some regular, normal car. He didn't spend his money on like these luxury things just to be someone that he wasn't or flex or show off to someone else, which I think I'm making a smart financial decision. Somebody who's buying a house is going to want someone who's making those smart financial decisions, just not something on a whim or something to impress someone. I think that, don't be fake.
Well, I don't think it's a question of being fake here. I mean, I'm not saying you have to have a nice car in real estate. My point is if it's going to boost your confidence level, that's great. Mm-hmm. More importantly, I agree, it has to be clean and professional. I mean, if the car's beat up and the paint job's bad or it's dirty, those are things that are going to turn off people more than anything else. But I mean, I'd be lying if I was sitting here telling you that people aren't going to make decisions based on that. But it kind of depends on your market, too. We're not in South Beach.
Yeah.
New York, they don't even see your car because no one drives anywhere, so
right.
Who cares? So it depends on where you are and kind of the listing you're going on. And I would take it one step further in that I'm not a big proponent of having big car debt. Or I think a car is a horrible investment. I mean, it's not something... It's something that I want to be safe, and I want to get me where I need to go, and it needs to look professional. Those are kind of my requirements. And overall, it doesn't matter as long as it's clean and professional, but you also kind of know your market. You're going to a $10 million listing, they may expect that. Now, there's not many $10 million
listing. I'm like, hey, Tom, can I borrow your car?
I don't have anything. I don't drive anything special.
I like your car. I think your car's really nice.
It's fine. It's clean. It does the job. But I mean, there's people. There's other cars that cost way more than that people drive all the time. So that's not. I hear you on that. That in that situation you may need to adjust. So my answer here is no, unless it's going to help boost your confidence level, which to me is more important. Because I can tell you, I've been on some appointments where my skill set is what gets the appointment. And I get there at night and they can't even see what I drive anyway, so they have no idea.
Right.
So I would say no, unless you're in kind of one of these crazy high-end markets, and I don't work there, so I don't really care.
I say no too.
All right, so double agreement here. Very unusual day on Toole Time. So we'll bring it to the quote, the motivational portion, which I'm pretty excited about. And it's a quote from Robert Frost. Do you have the quote, Jess?
Yeah.
Why don't you share it?
The quote is, "The best way out is always through." And I feel like I face this almost every day. I face challenges that I really don't know how I'm going to get through. And I feel like my first thought is, how can you get around it? But that's never the right way. It's always get through it, solve it, go in face first, I guess. But really, just that's the way you're going to learn the most. You're going to grow. You're going to experience things. Just go straight through it. Don't try and push it off. Don't try and get around it. Just go for it.
You use some interesting language there, and so I actually did like a thesaurus search about through versus some of the other things. So some of the opposites: avoid, go around. You know, and when you look at the other options besides getting through something, it's either to avoid it, ignore it, get around it. That problem's still going to be there for you, and it may not be a problem. It could be a goal, like you got to get through a workout. You got to get through a tough day of appointments where you know you're jammed back to back to back to back. Well, if you avoid them or ignore them or do other things, it's going to cause problems for you. It's not going to help you. So getting through is critical. It's about finishing and doing what you need to do every day. So Robert Frost, I mean, obviously very famous American poet. I don't know if he was talking about like business motivation or the stuff we're talking about here, but it's super applicable because anytime you don't work through something, the problem's still going to be there weeks, months, days, hours later. So to me, it's just like, look, you may not like it. What's the quote? I think it's a Zig Ziglar quote where if you got to eat a frog, which means you have to make like a really bad phone call or you got to tell someone some bad news, the best thing to do is eat it first thing in the morning so you don't have to worry about it the rest of the day. So those calls or those conversations that you have that are horrible, get them done first. And if you get them done first, then you can move on. It's not weighing on you because
it'll ruin your whole day.
Well, and there's like pressure of this stuff that happens, right? So all of a sudden you're like, oh, I got to call this client, or I got to call this agent who's ticked off at me, or I have to make this uncomfortable call because whatever happened. You got to call your husband or your wife about something. It's best just to get it over with, get it done, and move on because it's going to relieve the pressure and you're just going to feel better.
Yep. Otherwise, you're distracted. I agree. I like that quote.
Very cool. That's a wrap. We'll be back next week. Thanks for watching.
Bye.